Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of On the Couch. I'm Matt Marino.
And I'm Laquan Burrows. Today we are joined by Christina Castagnola, Rowan Field Hockey's captain and all-time scoring leader and midfielder. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Of course,
No
we
problem.
want to.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course, we want to start off by saying thank you for being here on the couch to be interviewed, and we want to congratulate you on all of your winning accomplishments, as we'll see up on our screen in a second. You've been pretty busy during your time here at Rowan, so let's kind of take a look through here. All of this.
Well, we want to start off
Exactly.
the first thing up there, Rowan's all-time scoring leader.
Yes.
Like,
Congratulations.
that's just one impressive feat right there.
Congratulations.
That's only the first thing.
Exactly.
This whole list.
Look at this entire list.
I mean,
It's
13
insane.
game-winning goals, owns the career record for goals by a midfielder. You were incredible in your time at Rowan. But what I want to talk about a little bit is these right here, all the specific awards you've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what we'll kind of do is we'll kind of go through a couple of them, and you just kind of explain what you felt receiving that award and what exactly made it different from some other ones you've gotten.
Exactly.
To start off, the Honda Division III Athlete of the Year, you won that this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that award was essentially like out of every field hockey player in Division III. Again, it goes kind of hand in hand with like Division III Player of the Year, but essentially who's the best field hockey player. And so I won that award like a couple weeks after the season ended. The next
that
day,
felt good.
actually, winning from the Division III Player of the Year. And essentially now I'm in the running for Division III Athlete of the Year and for every sport. And
wow.
so I'm currently going up against like from every female sport in Division III. So like swimming and diving, track and field, basketball. And I'll find out in June if I win. And if I do, then I get to go to LA and do this whole
wow. That's
convention, which is
crazy.
really cool. So
That's I feel like everywhere you go, you end up doing something, because Eastern's field hockey team has been great for a long, long time. And you got to be a part of that. So run us through one of your other awards here, the NFHCA Division III Player of the Year as well this year.
Yeah, what was the
Congratulations.
NFHCA?
Thanks. So the NFHCA is the National Field Hockey Coaching Association, and they're like the big that decide like our rankings throughout the season, Players of the Week, things like that. Your big awards like Regional Player of the Year and like things like that. And they decide like the All-American team. And essentially how I got that one is because I was Region 4 Player of the Year. They pick, so there's only 6 regions, and out of the 6, they pick one of the people within it to be National Player of the Year. And so it was between me and 5 other girls. And so, I mean, pretty awesome. That award is one I've been working towards my entire career. And it was one that, like, the second I got here, I was like, hey, this is what I really, really want to do.
I was about to ask you, was there anything on here that you were really looking forward to? Was there anything else on this list besides that one that you were either surprised that you got, or just really have always wanted to get that award?
Yeah, so I would say, so to be honest, I'm very goal-oriented. So I wrote everything down, even if it felt like far-fetched in the moment. So all of these awards are something I've written down when I first got here. I would say like the one I guess that caught me most by surprise was like my first year when I got NJAC first team all-conference. That was just surprising just because I felt like I didn't do as well as I guess I anticipated myself to do. And so I only had 13 goals that year, but I still was considered like first team all NJAC.
Yeah.
And then same with like being all region second team my first year. Again, I like didn't think I'd met to par with the other regional players. And so like I was surprised then. The other ones, as much as they were surprised and of course so excited, they were things I'd always been working for, like behind the scenes. And so it would have been more to me a disappointment not to get.
I get that.
But yeah, I definitely hold my standards really high, especially coming from Eastern. So like all of it was stuff I like really worked hard to get to. And so just getting it was like, I guess, semi-expected, but of course, like still surprising. So excited.
Yeah, no, of course. And once again, just looking at all this again, congratulations.
I'm actually going to go
all
over
of
one
this.
more on here, then we'll move on with the interview. The NCAA All-Championship team, I mean, that's impressive. I mean, that's big.
Yeah, so that one has to do with like the NCAA tournament. And it's usually actually only given to the teams that make it to the Final Four, and then they usually pick at least 2 players from each team. So if your team didn't make it to the national championship, you only get 2. So I mean, I was really fortunate from this past season and the season prior to be picked for it, especially because I wasn't picked my freshman year, which is totally fine. I mean, the 2 people that got it were amazing. They'd score goals in those games. But it means a lot, especially because I don't know exactly who votes for that, but I know it's partially the coaches who are at that event. And so these coaches who obviously hold such a high standard for their own programs are now like viewing other players from different schools and voting for them. And to me, like, that's
To be looked
super
upon in that light,
complimentary. Yeah. And so I really like appreciated that.
Yeah, no, well, once again, we can't say enough congratulations to you. This is insanely impressive. So you had talked to us about how you have written these goals down. You've had these for years. How long have you been playing field hockey, and what really made you gravitate to that sport?
So I started in like 7th or 8th grade. I actually literally wrote this on my Instagram post when I was learning like my classic like farewell to my sport. I said, so I essentially got cut from my soccer team in middle school, and I was like, well, I can't do nothing. And so I just tried out for field hockey and was like, all right, I'll just pick up a stick and ball. Why not? It's something else to do in the fall. And it just like was like love at first sight. One of those things, like I was so excited, just like a little naturally able to like pick up the sport, but then a lot of hard work. And the big thing for me is that field hockey is like constantly changing. There's a lot of new rules and not a lot of new skills all the time. I mean, when I was in high school, you were taking certain free hits like a 25, like or a long hit. We were taking them in a different spot, and then you got to college and it changed.
Yeah.
And the different rules changed, and they're like because they're constantly having the game elevated to a higher level with new skills that are being learned and taught. And to me, I thought that was really interesting. Not that that's not happening for every other sport. I'm sure with soccer or something like tennis.
Yeah.
Maybe an individual sport like ice skating, something like that. But it was just so interesting to me, and I loved how natural it felt. Like it never felt like work, even though of course like it requires so much of your effort, any sport.
Yeah.
But it just
It's also crazy that like
great,
that one thing could lead to all that. Like you
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, like that thought process, like,
Exactly.
oh, I didn't make soccer, so might as well do this, and now it
And now
led
it's
to
your
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
So is there anybody that specifically like inspired you or helped push you towards not only your record but just doing field hockey in general?
I mean, there's a bunch of people along the way. Like, of course, like family and certain like close friends who just always supported. But my original like inspiration was my mom got me into like weightlifting and like training really early just because I knew I always wanted to play sport in college. And so this guy named Garnell Peters, he didn't play field hockey, but he like understood the mechanics that went into it. And he just every day was always like, what is your goal today? He's like, all right, and what's your goal like forever? Like, what do you want to do? And so in 8th grade, he's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be a college field hockey player. He's like, all right. And what do you want to do when you do that? Get to there. And I'm like, all right, I want to be an All-American. Because at the time, I didn't know these other awards, but I was like, I know every sport in college, you have All-Americans. And he was like, all right, well, we're going to do that. I was like, all right, sir, I will. But he's awesome. One of my biggest inspirations, too, because he just came from nothing and made so much of his career. He ended up playing football in college and then just went from there, like didn't even know exactly what he wanted to be and knew he wanted to be an athletic strength coach and just helped me so much. That's at least from that side. I would say like field hockey wise, if I could think of like a specific individual, of course my high school coach, Danielle Heilig, she's one of the most successful high school coaches in field hockey history. One of the most winningest coaches. At one point, she hadn't lost for 6 years straight.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Was extremely incredible what she did. And she always said you could be more than what you think you could be. And she always knew how to push you in a way that others weren't willing to, in a way that sometimes like would make you like, what the heck are you saying? But you just had to trust the process.
At Eastern?
They're not, unfortunately. But when I was there, we were.
Yeah, it was like it was to the point where like I used to play football. Like we're not allowed to practice on the football field. Field hockey got the priority because they were the better. They're the better team. It's absolutely insane. So college is all about making memories. What would you say was your favorite moment or favorite memory playing field hockey with all your teammates, or just anything in general from your time here?
This is gonna sound so like, of course, like the big stuff, like those big wins, like we win the conference, and like that's always a big deal because we are in such a competitive conference. To me, one of the top 2 conferences in the country for field hockey, between the NJAC and the NESCAC. But to me, like I think my favorite memories will always just be practices, because that's when I'll say you goof off, but you goof off like. All those times, like you get over those 4 years, like you do those drills and you like remember all of them, but you just remember like the random conversations you're having or the random drills. Because honestly, I don't think a lot of people get to say this, but every day practice was fun and enjoyable, but at the same time really hard and really put us through the grind. but we learned so much, and I think that enjoyment and that culture really like it's just the biggest memory overall for me. But of course, like the big wins, like we win NJAC 3 years in a row, and every time it gets better. Trust me, that never gets old. And same with like winning regionals and then going to these NCAA tournaments and things like that. But for me, just the practices, really.
That's great. Well, Christina, thank you for joining us,
Yes.
but do not go anywhere because we still have some fun games planned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to On the Couch, and we are still joined by Christina. And right now, we are going to be getting into a little bit of Would You Rather. So,
I hope
are
you're
you
hungry.
ready? Yes, this is definitely going to make us hungry.
I don't know if they'll have sushi on there.
But unfortunately, so once we get these graphics up, we will hop. Here we go.
Oh.
So, in our first one, as you can see, you're going to choose one from each row, and you can do it by numbers, you can do it by name. So whenever
As our
you
guest, you
are
should go
ready.
first.
Exactly. As you can see, I got this off TikTok. But
Okay, Reese's Puffs for sure. It's second
like-
row. I'm not a
I
chips
do like some
person.
Reese's. Oh, that makes sense.
I guess barbecue. I'll go with the Lay's barbecue.
Okay.
And then
Ain't nothing wrong with the barbecue.
I'm just torn right now between Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, but I'm a big McDonald's person. I love a good Big Mac. That's what I'm
Okay.
going
That
with.
is true.
Okay, valid,
Shamrock
valid.
Shake is back too. I still need to try that. I've actually never had a Shamrock Shake, so I'm about to try
Really?
that. Yeah. I feel like every year comes around, I'm like, oh, I'll try it this year, and then I forget. So.
Well, now you got to remember
Now's
because
your
I'm
chance.
telling you.
Now's my chance. So
There you go.
We'll go on to our next one here.
Oh, wait, no, I thought we were going to do
Oh, right. Sorry, my fault. You
me to
can
go?
go first. Yeah.
Okay, well, to start off, I'm a peanut butter whore, so I'm going to choose Reese's Puffs. I don't, can I say that? I don't
Yeah.
know,
No,
but- okay.
you are absolutely fine.
I don't know. Now, here's the thing. I much prefer sweet over salty. I am not a huge chips person. So I would never actively go for chips if I was offered a snack. But if I had to choose one of these, I would choose a Doritos. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, if you just told me to look at this and choose 3 things from this list, I would probably just choose Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, and McDonald's. But
That's fair.
I don't know. I love all of these. But if I had to choose, I would choose Chick-fil-A. That sandwich.
Yeah. All right. So for me, I'm torn between the Reese's and the Frosted Flakes. I do love me some Frosted Flakes. I feel like I have those more often, but Reese's Puffs are great. So I'm gonna just have to go with this since we all seem to love ourselves some Reese's.
Of course.
As for the chips, I'm torn between the barbecue and Cool Ranch because I do love me some Doritos.
No one's loving the Ruffles today.
Nah, I've never been a big fan of Ruffles.
Yeah, me neither.
They're not, to me, they don't hit. I'm gonna just go with the barbecue chips and then Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Cannot go wrong with some Chick-fil-A, which is crazy because as a kid I hated Chick-fil-A, but now I love Chick-fil-A. So we can move on to our next one here. Looks like
Oh. What are those, mozzarella
Wow.
sticks?
mozzarella
Yeah.
sticks,
Nachos,
and
onion rings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
dang.
Then you choose
Now those
here.
do look good.
I gotta go get me some mozzarella sticks now.
So that would be your choice then.
Not necessarily.
Oh. Okay,
I'm
what would
just-
you choose then?
Ooh. See, I like all 3 of them. But my heart right now is telling me nachos, but my stomach is telling me mozzarella sticks. So I might, for now, I'm gonna just say the nachos, the blue Gatorade, and the cosmic brownies.
Okay.
I do not like oatmeal cream pies.
Well, once again, if I could just choose 3 things from this list as a whole, it would definitely be the first 3. But I would go with the mozzarella sticks, especially those, because those actually look really
Yeah,
good.
Like,
Like, I don't know
really
where
good.
they got
Cheese
that
is-
picture
Like, that's a
from.
good picture.
But,
When
like-
the cheese is melted like that, like it's
Yes.
it's
Oh yeah.
great.
I would choose the blue Gatorade. I'm not a huge tea fan. And then I would also choose the cosmic brownies because I
Yeah.
love
Sweet tea
chocolate.
for me. Sweet tea doesn't really do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like 100% nachos. It's my favorite ever. If there's an option to get them, I always get them.
Nachos always hit.
Yeah.
You can't really mess up nachos.
No, not at all. That's the thing. You could just microwave chips with cheese, and like that's enough.
Yeah.
I legit
It's just
just
the
used to put
difference.
Tostito chips and cheese in the oven and just let it melt for a
Yeah.
little bit
I mean,
and
yeah.
go from there.
It's good. Then I'll go Gatorade. And then cosmic brownies. I mean, if
The
you're not
Minute Maid
picking
fruit.
cosmic brownies, did
Yeah.
you grow up like?
Did you
I
ever
did.
really eat
You
those
need
in the
them.
cafeteria?
When you were,
in
like,
elementary
younger?
school?
I feel like the Minute Maid though. The Minute Maid does hit. I do like
Okay.
the Minute Maid
That's
fruit
valid.
punch,
That's
but
valid.
you can never go against the blue Gatorade.
And I feel like nothing down here is valid except for the cosmic brownies.
Yeah.
Like if you choose anything else, I would look at you differently.
I've never tried the strawberry ones, but they don't look appetizing to me.
Yeah,
So, and then the
definitely
oatmeal
don't.
cream pies, I kind of know. I feel like I know which one of these you guys are going to get rid of in this next one, since we kind of talked about it. But 2 of these have to go forever. I think I already know for both of you which
2 have to go
at least
forever.
one of them.
You want to go first?
I'm going first again.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I actually just did this on Rowan Radio. I said I would get rid of, what did I say? I think I said cake and chips.
Cake and chips?
Yeah. For me, while I do
would
like
get rid
me
of
some
cake.
so my thinking with it is, while I do like cake, I don't have it that often. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I would prefer cookies over cake. I feel like cake is there's like only certain types of cake that I sit there. I'm like, yeah, I'm really craving.
But like
Fair.
that kind of
That
cake,
cake.
though. I mean,
But
what would
like
you eat on
at
your
the same
birthday?
time,
Cupcakes?
I mean,
It's not the same.
I mean, hey, for my birthday, you can get me some ice cream. Like,
Yeah, that's like the only
I'll
option.
Then
take
it'll
some-
melt when you put
I'll
a
take
candle
some-
on it.
You know what? It don't matter. I'm still eating it. But like with cake, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, if it's made really good, then yes, I'll take that. But like, how often am I having cake? And then like, what type of cake am I having? You know, it's like the only type of cake that I feel like I crave. My family makes this chocolate cake with caramel icing, the best thing in the world.
But then you're giving that up.
Exactly.
You just said
am-
it was the best thing in the world.
I am, but again, I only have it like once a year. Out of these, I feel like the only other thing
How many birthday parties do you go to a year?
I mean, you know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like the only other thing I'd say I would get rid of is chips and soda. Because I feel like while I do like soda, I could always, I could always
there are
drink
other
like juice.
options.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like juice. So I feel like for me, it's either chips and cake or chips and soda.
Christina, you want to go?
Yeah, so definitely getting rid of soda. I really only drink Sprite, and that's like so rare. And then, yeah, I would get rid of cookies. I like am
I'm
not a
surprised you
cookies
said
fan.
cookies over chips.
Well, because think about chips. There's like different ways. Like there could be chips. I like regular, just plain chips. But yeah, no cookies. I don't know.
Even the homemade ones?
Yeah, I don't like them that much. I'm a big ice cream person, so.
That's fair.
Okay, me too. Well, like I said earlier, sweet over salty. I do like chips, but unfortunately, they have to go.
There you go.
Now, the rest of these are very hard. Listen, Laquan, I hear what you're saying. I agree that there are only certain types of cakes that I would eat, not that much. But the good cake is just too good to pass up.
That's fair.
Maybe I will go with soda, just because there are more options to drink.
Yeah, I
know.
mean, you got
There's nothing wrong with water. It's hydrating.
you got juices.
Juice.
I'm not a big fan of sparkling water, but those ice sparkling water drinks
Yeah.
are basically sodas. So
I mean,
could-
'cause
True.
Realistically, you
those.
cannot get rid of possibly anything else aside from chips, cake,
The
and soda.
only thing I thought about was chocolate, but then I was thinking, but then there's so many
chocolate's
other things that
everything.
I was about to say like there's so many other things that like have because
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head when I saw it, like just like candy chocolates,
Yeah.
but then I was like, oh, like I can't make anything
Like-
else without it.
I would say if you had to choose 2 to just keep, like pizza and ice cream. Like if you choose to get
Yeah.
rid of those, like you do not deserve to be.
I would
here.
I definitely say ice cream, pizza. I feel like yeah, but also burgers are good. I feel like
Yeah.
there are certain times where you're just craving a good burger.
Yeah.
So like you can't really go wrong with that. But anyway, thank you very much
Of course.
for joining us on the couch and picking all these lovely things.
I hope you're going to eat when you get
I
out
was
of
about to
here.
say,
Yeah,
I
this
hope
has
you are
made me
hungry.
really hungry.
I'm definitely going to eat before I go to work. But thank you once again for joining us on the couch and having this interview with us. But don't go anywhere because after this, Matt and I will be diving into some juicy hot topics. So stay tuned. Welcome back to On the Couch, and this part of the show is called Hot Topics, and we are going to be talking about what's hot and what's not in pop culture. So Matt, I went first last week. I think it's only fair to have you go first this week.
Okay. Baseball spring training has officially started, and I cannot be more excited. Even though it's nowhere nearby for now, just the fact that the teams are starting to play games has me looking more and more forward to opening day. However, the MLB is implementing a new rule that is causing a lot of conversation between fans, old fans and new fans of the game. To move games faster, the MLB has now put in a pitch clock during games. And what this pitch clock is it basically it gives the pitcher a certain amount of time to pitch the ball. And this is meant to, keep games moving, keep it faster, and to kind of, for general audiences to kind of be into it more. Now, the way it works is if the pitcher takes too long to get ready on the mound and pitch, then the pitch is automatically called a ball. And if the batter takes too long to get inside the box, the pitcher's automatically called a strike. And the game just moves on. This new rule has caused a massive outrage from old fans, as people are saying it ruins the game and it's not good for the players. Now, I'm going to give you a scenario here, Laquan.
Okay.
It's the World Series. The bottom of the ninth inning, 2 outs, bases loaded, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tensions are high, people are nervous. The batter steps into the box, and all of a sudden the ump calls time. The batter took too long to get into the box, strike 3, game over. It's ridiculous.
Burning it down.
You can't just time this stuff. I mean, it takes time for a pitcher to get ready, for a batter to get ready.
So, my thought on it is with this. So I'm not the biggest baseball guy. I don't really pay attention to baseball, but I can see where they're trying to come from with it, like trying to make the games faster. I feel like if they're going to make this a rule, it should be a rule for the regular season, but not for playoffs. Because kind of how we saw in the NFL with Bills and Chiefs when they had the whole rule where they changed the playoffs rules for that. I feel like it should be something similar to this because I can see wanting to make the game shorter because the games can be kind of long, and in football we have things like the stop clock to kind of get everything started and kind of get everything rolling. But since I don't watch baseball, that could be different for them. Like you need time to get ready, you need time to get in that headspace. So I definitely, because my main thought was what you were talking about, how if I can definitely see this is going to go terribly wrong in some big game in the playoffs. Something's going to happen, and everyone's going to be in full outrage, and then they're going to change the rule. So if they're going to make this rule, in my opinion, they need to change it for the playoffs because it's going to it's inevitable that it's going to lead to some sort of controversy, some sort of outrage, and someone's going to get screwed out of their game.
Now, it's one thing if maybe they just have the rule for maybe the first couple innings, just so the game kind of gets moving. But as the game goes on and more happens, maybe it's better just let them play it out at their own pace, because it's probably also not good for the pitchers if they're pitching, pitch clock runs out, the ump stops them, and they have to stop in the middle of their motion. So I think that's just good for their
it's going to take them out of the
and even
headspace.
It could cause injuries or just because of the way they're stopping the motion really quickly.
Yeah.
So who knows how this is going to turn out? Opening day, March 31st. Even
We'll find
with this
out.
new rule, I'm still excited.
We'll find out, but I feel like it's definitely going to cause something. But moving on now, we're going to be talking a little bit about Michael B. Jordan. So, on the red carpet for his new movie, Creed 3, Michael B. Jordan was interviewed by Morning Hustle host Laurel, I think her name was, who apparently not only went to high school with him, but also used to tease him in high school. So on her podcast, The Undressing Room, she discussed how she and others used to tease Jordan for his name and for bringing his headshots to school, saying things like, "What are you going to do with those stupid headshots?" Her co-host, Dominique, also chimed in by saying she felt that Michael B. Jordan was a nice and corny guy, not to slight him, she said. Those were her words. So when Laurel went to interview Jordan, saying that they went way back to high school, Jordan called her out and said, "Oh yeah, I was that corny kid, right?" And continued to egg her on, leading to a lot of people calling him immature and petty. So Matt, I want to get your kind of thoughts on this. Do you feel like his reaction was justified? Do you feel... Okay, thank you. Because, I don't know, I feel like people were blowing it way out of proportion. Because when I saw the original thing, it was like an Instagram post. And the way they made it seem like it was going to be way worse than it actually was. That he was like cursing her out, doing all this stuff. And I watched the video and I was like, what did he do? He's like, if you're not going to use me for your own personal gain after making fun of me, trying to belittle me, trying to do all this, and then try to come out, oh, I didn't say that. ma'am, you were on you were on video on
Yeah.
your own podcast saying and admitting to all of this. So I feel like he is 100% justified in this
Yes.
because I would have done the same thing.
I mean, regardless of what this picture says, he actually was surprisingly like he wasn't super.
He was very
pretty
calm.
about
He
it.
was very calm. He
Like-
was very passive aggressive about it. I think my
he was
favorite
passive aggressive, but still kind of calm, you know.
my favorite picture from it. He had this like straight face, one eyebrow was raised. He was just giving her this death glare. And I'm pretty
what
sure.
Was it? What did it look like? Show it to the camera here.
Oh, here, hang on a second. Let me see if I can pull
No, I
pull
want
up
you
that
to
picture.
do it. I want you to recreate it.
I cannot raise my eyebrow.
Or was it like a?
It was kind of like that, but like take a mixture of what you just did and mix it with his face right there, and that's what he did. This picture also doesn't really do him justice because it looks like he's raising a fist, but he was kind of just pointing as in like, oh, back then. But once again, in my opinion, he did absolutely nothing wrong because I would have been just as petty.
Maybe not even more.
Yeah, no. To be honest, but I feel like he and again, the people were saying he was immature and that he shouldn't be holding on to high school beef. He didn't do it in a way, in my opinion, he didn't do it in a way that was immature. Like if he had continued on and started berating her and doing other stuff, then I could see that kind of narrative. All he said was, "I'm the corny guy," right?
Exactly.
Calling her out.
And if he didn't say anything, she would have been the interview she would have
Bro.
done with him was like would have been like
Oh,
using
we go
him
so
for views.
yeah. Oh
you
my
know?
God, we go way back. Like we were so cool in high school. No, like you ain't gonna bully me, and then try to be all cool with me now that I'm up.
Now the video's still getting views, but everyone's slandering her for it, which
And then she came out with her own statement saying, "Oh, I didn't say all that," which. To be fair, she didn't call him corny. Her co-host did, but she still signed off on it and still admitted to doing it. But that's my 2 cents on it. But that's all we have today for On the Couch. I'm Laquan Burrows.
and I'm Matt Marino. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the couch.